bumper sticker went around the city saying McLuhan reads books, because everybody thought in the popular life McLuhan was putting down books and was watching TV like a couch potato all the time. But nobody understood Finnegans what he expects, right?
We should point out, though, he only read every other page.
That's right. Well, he was a double agent, a triple agent, and all levels.
So he literally read every other page.
And so do you.
I don't know if I did.
We're
capable of reading every page.
What?
I don't read every page.
That's right.
Good ones.
Yeah, he would, but he read every other page only in serious academic books. He read every book, every page, every word in Pulp Fiction and non-serious books. Yeah. He read every word.
That was entertainment.
Yeah, because well, he said the serious books tended to be redundant. They always repeat themselves because they probably had some complex academic concept that they had to keep referring to. But that's actually what print is a ditto device. He said it repeats itself. So if someone's really into book culture, they'll write seriously and repeat themselves. But Pulp Fiction is actually people, Mickey Spillane, they write books just to get money, so they can go to movies and TV, and they're teaching kids their literary value. So Pulp Fiction is guys just faking books, and those are more interesting from a McLuhan's point of view, right? And also, they don't repeat themselves because they don't have book sensibility, really. They're writing books so they can be made into movies. So that's the fourth school media college. And so Nevitt got his books out first. And I'm saying these schools, because these are people studying McLuhan and understood him to a great degree. So they're qualified to be a replay of the school media colleges. So you have the Toronto School, Gary Nevitt. Then you have Steam Text comes out in the early middle 80s. And Croker gets his books out in the late 80s. Bob and De Kirchhoff get books out in the late 80s. You just get one out in the 80s, the alphabet. Right. And Howe gets a few books out, and no, that's later. We're coming up there. I'm just talking about before 1990. Yeah. And Derek gets one book out, and Thompson gets a couple of books out. There was just for the record, Conrad Black was lobbying for William R. Thompson to take over the center and oust Derek in the early 83-84. Derek told me that. So what you were going to say something about?
Well, I just wanted to be able to catch my breath.
No, I don't know that.
But there are a couple of ideas that resonated with me. The idea that electric media is an organism.
Yeah.
The electric media recalls oral culture. And I'm working on trying to understand the origin of spoken language. And there's a fellow by the name of Morton Christensen who came up with the hypothesis in 1994 that language is an organism which evolved in order to be easily learned by children.
Right.
And then therefore you can get rid of chunks.
Right.
Which is something
that's what I'm concerned. But Robert, in McLuhan's thesis, the grammarian's point, he says the thesis, is that they're the ones who understood that language was a living organism. That was the grammarian tradition. The dialecticians got too abstract. They missed that point. Therefore, they became nominalistic and thought that you could casually name something anything. They didn't know that the name for something came out of that object. It was intimately linked with it. That was the living rhetorical grammatical tradition. Whereas the nominalists had a bit of a visual bias, would split the name off from the object and think that you could put any name in there, not knowing that the name had to resonate with the characteristics of the object. So that's where I see your point, but they knew that, McLuhan knew that, historically. Now, I'm saying that organism is really tactile. Now, Marshall said language is tactile. We don't want to just emphasize the ear. A living organism is cohering all the sensory input, making coherent consciousness. So it's all the inputs. And the word for all that implies tactility, right?
That's what Merlin Donald said in the book called The Origin of the Modern Mind.
Right. He's an academic here. A friend's been telling me about Queens, right? But he's very popular right now.
That's close enough.
Yeah. Well, I said here, Canada, I guess. But
right.
He's moving into McLuhan areas unconsciously, isn't he?
Yeah, well, we book bastards sometimes we do so anyway.
Yeah. Well, I praise you I say that you guys do point out the rich values and create rich books within that motive and agenda.
But in the origin of the modern mind, what Merlin Donald says to me that was through my mimetic communication. That is facial gesture,
right,
hand signals, vocalization, not verbalization, but just
right.
Vocalization and body language. So that was the first language. It had intentionality, and it's your tactile rhythm.
That's the tactile ESP. And McLuhan has on page 23 of Counterblast that he's doing the content thing, like the content of TV is movies, content of movies is novels, the content of books is speech. And it's a question or statement. Content of speech is what? He says, nonverbal mental dance, comma, ESP. He always had it first. He's always had it first. So he got that from Joyce. So Finnegans Wake is a book of ESP. You got to have ESP to figure out what he really meant. But he's showing the dance of cognition, the drama of cognition, and the nonverbal mental dance. And mental is gestural. Right. We don't know. Primitive man didn't know where the mind was. You know what I mean? They didn't locate in the skull. I mean, we know that later cultures thought it was breath. That's what their consciousness was. And the word was gesture, not a defined meaning utterance. Yeah. So
it just shows that McLuhan is the antenna, because being an artist, right?
Yeah.
So he saw everything first, and the academics